Hi there peeps, this is the second video in my explanation of the 10-day Vipassana silent retreat that I did from the 12th of July until the 23rd of July. This video will be going through what happened from day 5 until the end. If you didn't check out the first video, do that. That sort of established some things when it comes to the experience initially and the first 4 days, the fourth day being the hardest but very significant when it comes to the establishment of this meditation practice, and also the first real struggle and outburst of emotions that I had. So on day 5 and also on day 4, I actually talked to the teacher, and I began to understand that I needed to talk to him every day. I needed to have somebody to spar with, a sparring partner, kind of one who could mirror me, mirror what I was going through, because I actually saw this. Because if you follow my journey, if you know me, and even if you didn't, I've been through a lot of emotional suffering the last 6 years. I have not felt really good. I have great experiences, and felt well and good sometimes, but underneath everything, I have not been fully happy. So I started to understand that first of all, I did this Vipassana. I wanted to do this because I saw it as a kind of a last resort of really getting the grips of what was going on inside of myself, and heal that, let it go, whatever was supposed to happen could happen. So I needed to talk to him every day. So we did. On day 5, I don't remember. The thing is that I didn't write anything down. I couldn't. We were not supposed to, and I followed through on that. But I remembered the most significant things, so that's the ones I will share. Day 5, I don't remember throughout the day actually any real significant experiences, other than it was more of a day where I got more into the sitting more comfortably, began to find my seat, in the sense that with pillows. I had two pillows underneath my left knee, one underneath my right, and then I had my pullover hoodie, which I folded up and really put a good cushion under there, and then I had my mat and a pillow under that as well. It was actually kind of funny to see everybody had their little nest around, and and what I haven't told you is that we were split up, men and women, so we were not together with women, only in the main meditation hall, which was also one of the reasons not to be distracted by each other. But at the end of day 5, after the discourse, we were waiting because there was many different languages. So we were waiting until we were supposed to go into the last meditation. And all of a sudden outside, because over the last years I've had this very dense knot of intense pain or suppression, or whatever you might call it, in my gut, in my stomach. And it's been a very tough and sort of an annoying, frustrating thing to have, because it didn't seem to let go. It was just it was just intensity all the time. But all of a sudden, on around 8:30 or just before that night, all of a sudden it just bursted, it just exploded into my body. My heart began to pound like this, and I was like, what the hell is happening? I felt like such an explosion of emotions, and in some ways I was a little bit happy about it, because okay, something is moving, and it seems like something is being released of this dense shit that it basically has been feeling like. So after a little while, it felt more at ease, and after meditation, I felt better. But all of a sudden, when we were supposed to sleep, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I actually felt I was in violence. I saw knives, and I felt like I was in a living nightmare. Basically, feeling and seeing violence of me fighting. I'm being attacked, and just being in immense violence. And I was sitting up. I couldn't sleep, so I was sitting up, and there was nothing. And then I closed my eyes, and then it just started again. And it was a bit scary, actually. And I was laying there and like, okay, will this never end? Will I always feel this agony, this tension, this fear, this very frustrating pain that makes me not be able to feel really good or feel free or feel the positive emotions. I felt blocked for so long, and I was like, okay, is this really? Will this never end? The teacher, and he had a manager, and he said that if you ever need to talk, you can at any time during the day, even at night, you can do that. So I thought, okay, this is probably the time. So I knocked on the manager's door. He came out, and I told him I need help. I need to talk to the teacher. He tried to understand what was happening. He seemed to understand that it was all according to what was going on. We were focusing on releasing, sensing our bodies, and so much has been stored in my gut that due to how we were meditating and how this was working, that the reason why it was being released was because the body and my mind began to release this, because I was observing it more than fighting it. And still, I was in a time these 5 days that I didn't really believe it. I was still doubting that if this would work, because I've experienced this before a bit. But he said, you need to relax. You need to really work on what you can with what we are here. And he also said, you're very tired, because I've been working very hard. He's been watching me. So he said the cure probably would be to get a hot water bottle, or one of those, you put hot water inside, those rubber ones. I actually don't know the name, but put on those, then lay down and sense your extremities, fingers and toes, or feet, to relax. So I did that, I relaxed, I was able to sleep. The teacher wanted to see me the next morning. I felt a bit better. Still in doubt, still telling him, I have this pain in my stomach, this kind of victimized sort of, okay, will it ever go away? And it seemed every time I talked to him, I seemed to be a bit more comfortable. On day 6 and 7, and I actually don't remember I think it was the end of day 6, but day 6 and 7 was really positive days in what was happening. First of all, this 6th day, as day 5, I don't really remember most of that day in terms of during the day, other than it was really tough. Every day was really, really tough. And day 7 was one of the best meditation days I had. I was sitting down pretty much the whole day. The first time I sat 2 hours without moving was in the morning, and was really feeling more and more motivated. The reason why was on the end of day 6, before the discourse at 7:10 or whenever that was, about that time, because I have dealing with 2 relationships these last years. The last one being really tough, because I feel like I lost a son. I feel like I lost something I really enjoyed and liked, and whatever has happened over the last 6 years, I had not accepted. I had not accepted that it started. I hadn't accepted what happened during the relationships I had, and I had not accepted the fact that they ended, even though it was the best thing for me, both of them, that they ended. But I had not accepted that inside, emotionally or mentally or whatever. So in the end of that day 6, I believe, could have been day 7, but I'm pretty sure it was day 6. I mentally began to accept the fact that I had that was the next step. I had to accept this, because it was what I've been fighting. That's what I've been fighting inside. Been the victim of feeling victimized by, been fighting, asking questions why, because I wanted to understand. Um, so I had that sort of mental stuff. Okay, I need to accept these things with these two women I've been with. So during the discourse, the first 30 minutes, the fight in my mind, the fight basically of why the suffering, the victimized stuff, it disappeared in my mind. All of a sudden it was just gone. It was quiet and silent. I was just sitting there. What is happening? There is no fight anymore. It just disappeared. So that was amazing and also like a little bit unbelievable. I was sitting there. Okay, where is it? So of course I talked to the teacher. I think the next morning on the day 7 actually talked to him about that, and then day 7 I had this really good day of meditation. And there's something that has been happening on day 7 and 8, but it was sort of gradual and not as specific as day 5 and 6 in terms of real progression. But a lot of things happened. Every time I stood up from a meditation, I felt there was a slight difference. And some days, some days 7, 8, or 6, 7, 8, some days I could just sit there for an hour and a half, and without any problem just stand up and feel like I could run after. That's how much energy I was beginning to generate in my body and flow that was happening. So it was pretty amazing. So I think those two, the points that I've mentioned so far, has been gradual, and really increasing. Even though it's not been as explosive, it has been gradually increasing and really been life changing up until that point. But we were not done yet, of course. I talked to the teacher on the 8th day about just meeting him on the 10th because I felt like pretty good. And the day 8, when I talked to him, I felt, okay, I probably don't need to talk to you. And maybe he's felt the same thing because he suggested to just talk on the 10th day. But on the 9th day, I still wanted to talk to him. I felt it was important. I felt like these days and this Vipassana retreat was basically my last resort of ever feeling good again. And what I realized on day 9 was that my greatest fear that I've been dealing with the last years was to never be able to let this density of pain go. To always, the fear of having this for the rest of my life, the fear of being in pain and suffering for the rest of my life. That is what I had been fearing this whole time, mostly. And I began to understand that was what I had left. I don't remember if it was before on day 9 or during day 9 or whatever, or the result of it when I began to realize this. But day 9 I saw as, if I can't do this day 9, then I won't have a life still. I saw it as there was still a lot of work to do. It was a day where I was really tired. I mean, I'd only been sleeping for about 4 hours per night, I think, because the energy in your mind just changes so much that you're more clear. I mean, there's a lot going on, and even though I didn't feel that tired, actually, like normal, I was tired. It was been a lot of work. You work. I mean, and you go through your entire life. You go through your entire life, and you observe it. You don't react to it. You just allow it to be there until it disappears, and that's been the practice. And experiencing all those emotions again, and not doing anything about it, it increases your clarity of mind and your life, and everything gets better slowly. But it's tough because you face yourself. You face the things that you actually didn't want to see again and feel again. So on day 9, I said to myself, if I can't do this day, I won't have a life. This is the day where I prove to myself that I can do this. And sitting down most all day, not moving, even though I was also that day in excruciating pain. You realize how much you can do when you begin to observe yourself, observe your pain, observe your thoughts, observe everything that's happening and not react to it. And how long I could sit if I did that. That day and the 2 days before, I began to realize how long I could sit in pain and just sit there and be okay. Because I was being in that state of observation. So on day 9, I just really put pressure on myself. The two of the last meditations, I actually got dizzy when I stood up, real dizzy, and I was like, what, because I was really putting a lot of pressure on myself, because I was really looking at this as, this is establishing something that will make my life better. And in the end of that day as well, because it seemed like throughout the days, it was the end of the days where I really began to feel, when the body began to relax, maybe because of the evening time, it was that day where my life really changed, because all of a sudden in the discourse also, it seemed like my mind and my body just let go of that fear I had. Fear of not feeling good again and all that stuff. It seemed like my mind and my body sort of more and more automatically began to just observe what was there, allowed it to be there, and allowed it to drift off or whatever. Not to react to it, because when you react, you resist what's there, and you increase that energy, whatever negative energy that is. So after day 9, I was really proud of myself. I was happy I've been able to sit the whole time that day, and basically began to feel a really big change in my life. I, of course, had a talk on the 10th day with the teacher. It was the day where we could begin to talk again and basically get used to being normal again or whatever. But it was really nice to go through that. And when concluding to all of this, it's been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I mean, walking through 2 countries, going through breakup, puberty, I don't know, whatever else I've done that's been hard. Nothing compares to that, really, because I've gone through my entire life once again and looked at myself and been able to let a lot of heavy things go. And now I have a practice where I can increase feeling good, happy, more content. And the good thing is that I don't feel over the earth. I don't feel euphoric. I just feel more content, more happy, more peaceful, and so on. And it just makes my life and the people around me, it makes it all a bit better and more in flow and so on. So yeah, that was 2 long videos. I hope it's not too long. I hope you'll get something out of it. If you want to talk to me further, please get in touch with me, and I'll be happy to share more or share anything that I can. So thanks for listening, and I look forward to being in touch with you. And until next time, may you be well and safe on your unique journey.